Like most of us, because of the coronavirus outbreak, I'm stuck at home. As a 15-year-old, I wasn't quite expecting this to be my life as a teenager. Curious about what the world looks like amid the pandemic, I'm talking with people who are on the front lines, helping our society get through this difficult time. Sharing their stories gives me hope, while I'm 15 and quarantined. Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of 15 in Quarantine. Today I'm here with Mr. Sean Middleton. Mr. Middleton, can you please introduce yourself?
How you doing? My name is Sean Middleton. I'm a mechanical engineer working in the Washington, D.C. downtown area.
So, can you please tell us a little bit about your job before this pandemic had started?
My job on a day-to-day basis as a mechanical engineer, operations engineer, daily tasks, tenant operations, dealing with tenants on a daily basis, going to tenant spaces, preventive maintenance work, just day-to-day operations of an office building.
So, from my understanding, you work through shelter in place. What were some of those experiences like?
The experiences during the shelter in place pandemic for COVID-19, it was challenging in the beginning because in the beginning there was a lot of uncertainties in reference not knowing when we had staff in the building together, how we should function, how we should move, because a lot of our work is jointly done together. There was some challenges like that in the beginning. Then the company restructured and allowed us to work 3 days on, 2 days off, meaning for 3 days you work from home and the other engineer will be staffed at the building. When that got into play, things started working out a little bit smoother. Also during that time, there were a lot of implementations that was taking place that was restructuring how building operations ran.
So, obviously, because of this coronavirus, your job has changed. So, what is the new normal for your job?
The new normal for my job currently is COVID-19 has changed the way office buildings operate. For example, when you come into my building, we have a breezeway. We have 4 sets of doors there. The first set of doors are secure, but the second set of doors are propped open all day from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. operation hours. We have decals on the floor that tells you which way to walk that are 6 feet spread out. Security desks have stanchions in front of it. We have to stay 6 feet behind. We only allow 2 people per elevator. We've also implemented in reference to the way our building function as far as air purification. We've implemented and installed, we have pre-filters, we have bag filters, we also have UV lighting. With all of that, that is conditioned air that goes down to the building. So by the time the air goes down to the building, it's 100% purified. So pre-filters is what they call it, is on a MERV 13 basis. That takes out 90% of impurities. And then the bag filters are MERV 15 rating. That takes out 95%. And then the UV lighting, anything that's left over, burns it all. So it has restructured how building operations are functional during this COVID-19 pandemic.
So, did you ever consider yourself an essential worker before this pandemic?
Yes, I was essential. I knew I was essential. I was first called in on snow. I was part of snow details, so I knew I was essential, but didn't know how essential. And during the pandemic, we knew we had to carry around letters because if we got stopped crossing over from Maryland into DC, if you got pulled over, we had to prove that we was essential. We had to carry letters with us during that time. So yes, I did know I was essential.
Yeah, this was very new, and people didn't know how to handle this. How is your personal approach? What is your personal approach to this job? How has it changed?
My personal approach to the job has changed in ways such as I'm sort of very cautious now as to contractors coming in the building, making sure that they have on the right PPE, whether it's face masks or gloves as they entering. We try to find out where tenants are. I mean, where contractors are coming from, whether if they're coming from New York, whether they're coming from Florida. So we're trying to really figure out detailing where contractors are coming from to help us help them facilitate and help our tenants out a little better.
So, what are some of the things that you do now that you didn't do before in order to protect your family from COVID-19?
To protect my family from COVID-19, I've implemented at my house. We put in automatics on the sinks, on some of the sinks. I make sure that we know where we're going at and who we're around at all times to try to figure out where they've been. And I try to I don't move as often as I used to. Pretty much right now I go from work to home, from home to work, back, right straight back to lessen my travels and my interactions with a lot of people. I also coach basketball. I coach girls basketball. Yep. And that has affected a lot of my girls and with the basketball. COVID-19 has affected a lot of my basketball players also.
So just a follow-up question there. You said that you coach girls basketball team. So has that I'm assuming that your team season probably got held or something like that. Has the season resumed?
No, nothing. Well, the season itself was finished. We won the championship for the season, but we were supposed to go what they call Geico Nationals. The top four girls teams in the country was supposed to go to New York and play for the national championship. That was stopped. The AAU programs are currently haven't played any games. Our girls don't have resources to practice because all the gyms and the facilities are closed up. So the COVID-19 has changed a lot of things, the way people are moving.
So I always try to end my interviews on a positive note. What is a message of hope for society that you have?
I would say for society, this pandemic shall pass. But I also will say your generation, y'all are paving the way for the new norm. This here, what we're doing, what you're doing, this is going to become the new norm of how we function. So when we come out of this pandemic, a lot of things that your generation are implementing will become the new norm. So y'all will sort of change how we function and move in the future.
Mr. Middleton, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.